Welcome to the show. Friday the 19th of July. 8 races on the Polytrack at Fairview Racecourse. The first off at 12:25. That'll obviously be the first leg of the bipod. And as always, when it comes to racing at Fairview, we welcome on the line Grant Paddock. Grant, how are you doing?
Morning, Graham. Morning, punters. Yeah, all good this side. Weather's holding up. It's pretty good. So we're in for a decent day on the Poly tomorrow, Graham.
Well, that's certainly good news. Glad to hear the weather gods are playing ball with us at Fairview Racecourse. So we record, as you all know, more than 24 hours ahead of the race meeting. We do have a couple of changes that have come to hand this early, but check your online platforms for whatever further changes may come about. The first race is a maiden juvenile plate over 1,000 metres. As I mentioned, it's the first leg of the bipod. It's off at 12:25. We have a scratching already. Number 1, Brooksider is a scratching. The early favourite is number 5, Nike's Ray of Light. There's an additional form line. Ran second on the 16th of July, beaten nearly 4 lengths by Sweet and True. Number 2, Coral Creek, is at 5-2. Then in single figures, number 4, Master Forester at 9-1. And number 8, Thread of Life at 28-10. Number 5, Nike's Ray of Light, favourite at around 19-10. Now, Grant, I know that your bet of choice is not the bipod. You've gone with Jackpot 1, which starts in race 4. More about that a little later on. But let's get off to a winning start. What do you fancy in the opener?
Graham, yeah, tricky kind of a race. So obviously we've got to have a look at number 5, Nike's Ray of Light, the favourite at the moment, takes part on Friday. He did run a race on Tuesday, ran a decent second, got beaten 3.5 lengths. I do like the looks of the Tara Lang filly, and Tara's yard is in form at the moment, and getting the 2.5 kgs from the boys is not going to be a negative. So very nice run last time out over 1100, showed a lot of pace, and I think Thread of Life is probably the right horse in the race, Graham. 2 horses in the bipod, the 5 and the 8. The 2, Coral Creek, Halo Stables, a syndicate horse. Bred to go a lot further than this, but Alan always gives them a run into sprints to see where they are. Probably going to need a bit further than this, Graham. So I'm going the 8, Thread of Life, from the 5, Nike's Ray of Light, if it runs, Coral Creek, and then over the Atlantic from the Mackenzie yard.
So Coral Creek, referred to by Grant Paddock, is the first timer from the Alan Creef stable. Richard Fourie, of course, a notable jockey booking, and Coral Creek by Global View out of a mare by Richman's Gold might well prefer a little further, as alluded to by Grant. One other change to mention, number 7, Sandy's Princess, gets the blinkers. We move on to the first leg of the place accumulated, the second race on the card. Maiden plate fillies and mares over 1,000 metres. There are no early changes to report. Number 1, Best Intentions, is at 5-2. Number 2, Bellatrice at 11-2. Number 3, Gotcha Buzz at 15-2. Number 6, Blueberry Blue, is at 6-1. And yeah, we do have a firm favourite in the form of another first-timer representing the Alan Creef Richard Fourie combination. That's number 7, Karoo Boki, a 2-year-old daughter of Denon Platina. Any word on the ground? Is she catching pigeons, this daughter of Denon Platina? Number 7, Karoo Boki, priced up quite short in the market, Grant, at 15-10. First leg of the place accumulator.
Graham, actually, I did give Alan a ring this morning to chat to him about this, because he has a tendency to bring out these Mrs. Slack-owned horses at the end of the season, and they invariably are very good. Horses like World Radar comes to mind. And so I gave him a ring, and he said to me, it's a nice filly, she shows a bit of pace, but she's definitely not a World Radar. So, listen, she's out of our Mushtarak mare. She's probably got a bit of speed on that side of it, but a very, very shallow field, and she can be, if she's only got to be half a racehorse to win a race like this, and I'm still going to stick with her. I think I got enough confidence from Alan that she'll run a big race. Best Intentions, Bellatrice and Tune Again to chase her home. Bipod, I wouldn't be bankering or going too light here, Graham. I'd probably add in both the Smith horses, the 1 and the 2, with Karoo Boki in the bipod. A bit of a tricky race.
Tricky start to the place accumulator, because obviously the betting dominated by the newcomer, number 7, Karoo Boki. 1, Best Intentions. Her nearest market rival is, of course, well exposed, having a 15 start in the maidens, but certainly doing enough to suggest she should get into the mix. Race 3 is the first leg of the pick 6. It's a tricky race in the sense that it's an open maiden, a maiden handicap over 1,300 metres. Number 1, Iguguletu gets the blinkers and the tongue tie. Number 4, Colonel Green gets the compression mask and the blinkers. There are a couple of form updates, the most notable of which is for number 2, Hot Hat, who ran third on the 16th of July a couple of days ago, beaten 3 lengths by Consigliere. The market has it as a 2-horse race between numbers 1, Iguguletu at 17 to 10, and number 2, Hot Hat at 18 to 10. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see whether Hot Hat has recovered sufficiently to fulfill this engagement just 3 days after her previous run. 2 other runners quoted in single figures are number 4, Colonel Green at 11 to 2, and number 5, House of Sussex at 6 to 1. Grant, this is the opening leg of the pick 6. The betting has it a match in 2 between numbers 1, Iguguletu, and number 2, Hot Hat. Iguguletu disappointed last time over 5 furlongs. Steps up to 1,300 metres. Should go better?
Yeah, banker. There's no doubt, Graham. Very unlucky last time I got left out. The pens flew late over a 5 furlong in the work riders where they went flat out. With a bit of that experience in an absolutely diabolical field, this Hot Hat, I watched it run on Tuesday, had its ears pushed off the whole way, hardly ran on. It's gonna have to improve drastically to beat the 1 horse here, and the rest of the field are all chasing the 3rd and the 4th places. Yeah, Iguguletu, solid banker and worth a bet, Graham. Banker in the pick 6.
You got to love Grant Paddock when he says banker. You can go for it. Number 1, Iguguletu. Now, I mentioned that Grant's bet of choice is Jackpot 1, which kicks off in race 4, and we'll go through that jackpot. But bear in mind that you can also play the pick 6, given that he's very confident Iguguletu will win race 3, the opening leg of the pick 6. But now we do get into slightly tougher races. Race 4, the first leg of Jackpot 1, Grant's chosen bet, is a classified stakes over 1,300 metres. Now, scratched early is number 7, Russian Empire, which leaves us with 8 runners. Number 1, Lieutenant Alexander at 5 to 1. Number 2, William I at 9 to 2. 3, Pashtun Wali at 6 to 1. 4, Coastal Path at 9 to 2. Number 5, A Bit Chilly, interesting runner, 2-year-old son of last winter. 2 indifferent runs in the Western Cape, but a winning debut on the poly track over 1,200 metres. His first run as a gelding when relocating to the Gavin Smith yard. Number 6, Windsock, is at 6 to 1. So those are the ones in the betting. I was quite intrigued that number 8, Great Times, is freely available at around 12 to 1, which I thought was pretty good value, given the fact that he's in pretty decent form. But Grant, I've had sight of your suggested Jackpot 1 permutation, and you're not taking any chances here. You've gone with the field. But what do you make of the 2-year-old number 5, A Bit Chilly?
Yeah, Graham, first of all, the first thing I make of it is the merit rating of 84 out of the maidens is absolutely ludicrous. They have been getting these crazy ratings, and they've really battled in open company since then. Come out with an 84, 28 to 10 favourite, definitely not for me. There's a couple of hard knockers here. This horse, William I, was very unlucky last time out. He got bobbed by his stable companion when they went for a big dip on him. I think he's definitely the value in the race, and the rest of them, any horse can win, there's no doubt. This horse, Coastal Path, Alan thought this, when I spoke to him earlier on, he thought this was his best on the day. I just reminded him that the form seems to be better on grass than on poly. But yeah, open race. Even this horse, Lieutenant Alexander, is in for there's a big weight turnover with him and Passion Tuwali, so he's a massive runner as well. I haven't taken any chances in Jackpot 1. I've gone the field, but A Bit Chilly is a bit short for me.
So there we go. Yes, A Bit Chilly, 84 rating, first time out into handicap company, having won a 7-runner contest, a maiden juvenile race back on the 7th of June. So we'll sit on the fence with number 5, A Bit Chilly. It's competitive. The value, as you heard there, could well turn out to be number 2, William I. Race 5, fillies and mares, 66 handicap over 2,000 metres, off at 14.45. It is the first leg of Jackpot 2. And here they're betting as follows. Number 1, Outer Dimension at 4 to 1. Number 2, State of Mind at 7 to 2. The Kelly Mitchley train, number 4, Lady Zoltanite, 2 to 1. Number 5, Spirit Princess, 11 to 2. 6, Josie Mo at 15 to 2. So it's not a big field. There are only 7 runners. Polytrack, 2,000 metres. Fillies and mares, 66 handicap. But what is interesting is that Lady Zoltanite is a 3-time winner from 18 starts. But on the polytrack, 2 starts for a win and a third. And over this track and trip, 1 from 1. So is Lady Zoltanite a worthy favourite in race 5?
100%, Graham. Definitely worthy favourite. Very, very nice filly. She's really done extremely well in Port Elizabeth since relocating. Course and distance specialist. She's very, very well, putting up some very, very good work, and I expect her to take a power of beating. There is a weight turnover with State of Mind. That's why I've added her into the jackpot. She doesn't know how to run a bad race, especially on the poly. I'll make it a boat race between the two of them. I'm definitely going for Lady Zoltanite to beat State of Mind. And then this filly, Outer Dimension. I know Alan thought she'd be a lot better in her last 2 runs, and she hasn't really performed out of the maidens, and he's probably going to be looking for a little bit of improvement there. And then Jam to fill up the cortege, trying the trip for the first time. But yeah, strong Lady Zoltanite, dangerous State of Mind.
So there we go. Fair degree of confidence coming through for number 4, Lady Zoltanite in race 5, but the clear and present danger will be number 2, State of Mind. As we move along to race 6, the fillies and mares 66 handicap over 1,600 metres. Number 2, Lady Tiptree, that gets the tongue tie. That's the only change we have at this early stage. Number 1, the 2-year-old daughter of Canford Cliffs, Can't Say No, is at 6 to 1. 2-year-old carrying 61 kilograms. 4, Arabian Red is at 11 to 2. The favourite is number 6, Hugs on High Fives, 22 to 10. Number 7, Such a Life at 15 to 2. And number 8, $1 Million Girl at 9 to 1. A field of 10, and once again, I allude to the fact that I've had sight of your suggested Jackpot 1 permutation, of which this is the 3rd leg. And once again, Grant, you've gone the field.
Yeah, I went to field. You know, I'm very strong on Hugs and High Five. She had a very, very good run here, first time out over the mile. She's back on poly. She's been on the poly before in Durban, and her first run here was very, very good. Once again, extremely shallow field. The 2-year-old filly with an 87 rating carrying 61. She's going to be under all kinds of pressure, but she'll run a decent race. And the rest of them all, you know, chasing state checks. So it's either Hugs and High Fives or it's field. Hugs and High Fives is definitely my first choice. I think she'll take a power of beating, but I've gone on the safe side in case she doesn't take to the PE poly and gone field. But for tipping, definitely Hugs and High Fives from the 1, 9 and 4.
So there we go, number 6, Hugs and High Fives. A clear first choice for Grant. He's gone the field. Obviously, you're looking for a bit of results, so maybe you actually want to take 2 jackpots, the one that Grant will suggest a little later on when we get to the end of the show, but then take another one, which will cost you a lot less, of course, instead of including the field, banker number 6, Hugs and High Fives, and try and get the jackpot multiple times that way. The last leg of Jackpot 1 is the 7th race. It's an MR96 handicap over 1,000 metres. And here's where we feature Grant's best bet on the card. But before we get to that, let's go through the betting. Number 1, Paris Lass at 15 to 4. Number 3, Slim Yanni is back in Port Elizabeth. Interesting runner for me. That's at 9 to 1. Number 4, Evie's First. There's a form update. Ran 4th, beaten only 2 lengths by the very decent Fairy Knight on the 16th of July. Evie's First at 6 to 1. Number 6, Liddell's Echo is at 5 to 1. 7, Like That Loose, who hasn't won a race for more than 1,000 days, is at 7 to 1, but certainly knocking at the door. 8, Cool Winter at 7 to 1, and 10, Tuscan Gold, who's got to have some kind of a chance of 52.5 over the minimum trip from a handy draw. That's at 8 to 1. But Grant doesn't want to know. He's labelling this horse number 1, Paris Lass, the 3-year-old daughter of Visionaire. Of course, she's very decent. She won the Milkwood Stakes last time out. She was penalised £9 for that victory. But Gavin Smith has tactically negated that penalty by putting apprentice Nastilli aboard with a 4-claim allowance. Effectively, Grant, she's gone up £1.
100%, Graham. This filly is very fast. I'm telling you, there's very few fillies or horses that can go with her over a 5 on poly. She's incredibly quick. Last time out, 56.37, carrying 58.5 kilos. Unbelievable. She ran away from them. I expect her to do it again. Gavin, as you say, he's extremely good with these sprinters. He had cruise control, and you know he cleaned up every 1,000-meter race. He even got him to go 1,200. And he's a top horse. He's running well in Durban at the moment. But Paris Paris Lass, she's a very, very good filly over 5 furlongs. And I see Slim Yanni, they've taken the blinkers off. Probably going to be a comeback run for him. He's the first run back for the yard. Liddell's Echo's a course and distance specialist, shows a lot of pace as well. Been off for a while, but he's a 5 furlong horse. But I think he'll be pretty held by the filly, there's no doubt. So, yeah, very strong Paris Lass. She's my banker on the day. I expect her to win and win well. I don't see these other horses running those kind of times, 56.37. Liddell's Echo to chase her home, Evie's first, and maybe a little bit of Cool Winter and Tuscan Gold to find up minor positions, but strong on Paris Lass.
As you mentioned, it might well just be a little comeback feeler for number 3, Slim Yanni, and I'm not disputing that the stable companion, number 1, Paris Lass, is preferred, and you're very confident about number 1, Paris Lass, but I think it's worth mentioning and reminding our viewers that Slim Yanni, after a very successful Eastern Cape campaign, came back to Kenilworth, then Scottsville, but the last time he ran over this track and trip was back in November last year when he beat Teatro, and Teatro at that time was in good form, and Slim Yanni's course and distance form is 6 starts for 3 wins, a second and a fourth, but then Paris Lass has had 4 starts over track and trip for 3 wins. So Gavin Smith holds a strong hand, but as you heard there from Grant, very much in the camp of number 1, Paris Lass. He's nap for the day and banker in all exotics. As we move to the 8th race, which is the final leg of the place accumulator and the final leg of the pick 6, it's a fillies and mares 70 handicap over 1,200 metres. The betting suggests that this is far and away the toughest race in the card. Number 1, Allende is at 17-2. Number 3, Kilmoniveg at 17-2. 5, Ella's Delight at 7-1. Then number 9, By the Light of the Moon, 11-2. 12, Dawn of Gold, 11-2, which adds up to the fact that they are indeed betting 11-2 the field. The only change we have to hand is that number 7, Frosty Reception, gets the tongue tie. The 8th race looks a real challenge, Grant. Unravel the mystery for us.
Yeah, you're going to need a crystal ball here, Graham. There's no doubt. This is the normal 8th race for Port Elizabeth. We're back to this kind of a field where everybody's got a chance, there's no doubt. I thought the Tara Lang yard with Kilmonivig and Colorama hold the aces. Yeah, they got decent form. Unfortunately, their draws aren't too clever, but they got to be there and thereabouts. Ella's Delight holding solid form, and so too this filly By the Light of the Moon ran a decent race last time out from a poor draw. This is a kind of a race where it should be 6-1 bar. We've gone light early on. The pick 6 guys need to go field, there's no doubt. Place accumulator, those 4, the 2 Lang horses, the 3 and the 13 with 5 and 9 should get you through. 4 horses as absolute minimum in the place accumulator, but as wide as possible in the pick 6 in a very tricky race. A good race to try and catch the quartet. Maybe have a look at them go down and rove a couple of horses here with horses at the back, and then try and get this quartet. It will definitely pay, but it's definitely a field race, and you'll just be lucky to get through this one.
So the toughest race in the card is without question the 8th race on the card. Let's get to Grant's suggested bets. We'll bring up the slide. As I mentioned a number of times already, he suggested exotics bet is the Jackpot 1, which commences in race 4, but he's also got a best bet and a value bet. And then just extrapolating this Jackpot, just a reminder that in the 3rd race, Iguguletu could be a banker. You've got to go field in the last race, but you might want to take a chance in the pick 6 and banker Hugs and High Fives, where in Jackpot 1, Grant has gone the field, but he does make Hugs and High Fives his very firm first choice. The slide is up, Grant. Take us through it.
Thank you very much, Graham. Best bet, race 7, number 1, Paris Lass. And the value bet on the day, race 4, number 2, Williams the First. The suggested bet, Jackpot 1, goes as follows. We're starting off with a field, it's 1-9, by numbers 2 and 4. By the field, 1-10, or banker 6, and then banker 1 at the back, Graham, for 180 Rand.
So there we go. That is Grant's suggested bets. Nap selection, Paris Lass in race 7. The value selection, William the First in race 4. Grant, thank you very much for your time. We hope you have a very, very successful race day.
Thank you very much, Graham, and good luck to those punters tomorrow. Goodbye.
And to you, the viewer, thanks for joining us. Till next time, cheers.